Hello everyone, my name is Steve Adolf and welcome to another practical safe video from the dining room table. I hope you're all doing absolutely fantastic, and today's installment is PI Objectives, the Forgotten. This is part 1 of 2. Now, why do I call PI Objectives the Forgotten? Well, for the simple reason that in my experience, many organizations actually do not use the PI objectives. They either don't create them at all during PI planning, or if they do, they don't use them in their Inspect and Adapt workshop. That's of course assuming that they actually do hold an Inspect and Adapt workshop, and it is shocking how many organizations don't have an Inspect and Adapt workshop. So, this video here is about to explain what are PI objectives, why are they important, and then most importantly, how do you effectively use the PI objectives and avoid misusing them. Like all the videos in this series, I just want to say these are my personal opinions. They're based on my experience with working with different clients. They absolutely do not represent the views of Scaled Agile nor my employer. And while you may gain some insights into Scaled Agile from these videos, they are absolutely not intended to be exam preparation material. Okay, so let's go to the basics. What exactly is a PI objective? Well, if you go to the Scaled Agile Big Picture, you can click on the PI objective icon and up will come the definition saying they are a summary of business and technical goals that an Agile team or train intends to achieve in the upcoming program increment. In other words, they're what you intend to get done, what you want to get done and what you hope to get done in the upcoming PI. So why do we worry about PI objectives? What are they all about? Well, fundamentally, when you really get right down to it, Scaled Agile, the Scaled Agile framework is simply all about predictably delivering value. The PI objectives capture the value you as a team intend to deliver in a PI, and we are able to then use predictability measures to assess if are we able to predictably deliver that value. So it's really a key element of the benefits of SAFE is using the PI objectives. Now, you may ask, well, aren't the features valuable? Isn't that what I'm doing with the features? Don't the features express value? Well, maybe. You have to remember that in Scaled Agile, a feature is really a chunking mechanism. While a feature does represent something that should be valuable, it is realistically, because a feature needs to be able to fit into a PI in the same way that a user story has to fit into an iteration, the feature itself may not capture enough value that it would be valuable to or meaningful to your stakeholders or patrons. So the PI objectives give you a way of expressing value to your stakeholders, to your patrons, that may be in a way that the features cannot. So PI objectives are one of the 2 outputs that come out of PI planning. Typically, we go into PI planning with a vision and some features. The guideline from Scaled Agile is about 10. I've seen organizations do 15. I've seen others do about 3 or 4. Coming into PI planning with about 150 features definitely is a bad smell. But the intent is you come in, you have a vision, you have features that you would really like to get done. And what you're able to do in the 2-day PI planning event is output, these are the PI objectives that we as the teams and overall as the Agile release train can commit to. You also get as an output the program board, which will be the topic of another video. Each team during PI planning creates its PI objectives. So the PI objectives, remember, are the summary of everything that we are hoping to be able to accomplish during the PI, right? And just want to get over a misconception here. A lot of people believe that we are going into PI planning and that we are building up this, we're laying out each of those individual sprints there. What the individual sprints are showing is that our PI objectives are credible, that there is a possible path to being able to deliver those on those objectives. So the PI objective, it might just be the features. It might be the feature that you as a team are taking responsibility and delivering. So there could potentially be a one-to-one mapping between the PI objective and a feature. The PI objective also may represent an aggregate of features. Remember we said the features are a chunking mechanism, so they may not capture enough behavior or functionality that's going to be valuable to your stakeholders or patrons. So the feature could express, the PI objective could express 2-3 features, for example. But there's also other things that might be valuable. You might have milestones. You might have particular events. You may have a drop point to an important customer. So these are all expressing what are the valuable things you intend to get done during this PI. So the feature, that's why we have the objectives. The feature may not be the robust mechanism for capturing that. Also, the features are, what my experience has been with a lot of clients, the features tend to get very technical sometimes or expressed in very technical terms. Your stakeholders may not be exactly highly technical people. They're funding you, they may be domain experts, but the language of the features may not match the language that they understand. So this is your opportunity to reflect back to them in a language that they understand. What is it you intend to do during this PI? I sometimes make a joke with my clients and say, oh, you're reflecting this back to the business, so make sure you use small words. But you understand what the intention is. By the time sometimes we get features distilled down to the train, those features may be written in a way that may not be as important or understandable to the business as if you can express them back to the business owners in terms that they understand. And remember something, what this is all about is achieving alignment. Remember, alignment is one of the 4 core values of SAFe. This is one of the most important aspects. We want to make sure that the business owner clearly understands what you intend to do during this PI. So ideally, you're expressing to them, this is what we intend to do, and they're going, great, I understand. Or they may say, whoa, what is it that you're doing here? And this opens up a really good opportunity for conversation to verify and ensure that, are we actually aligned on what we're going to deliver in this PI? So some tips for writing the PI objectives then, if you go to the Scaled Agile big picture and look up PI objectives, it'll start talking about what's, writing them as SMART objectives. But a couple of tips I would add to that is realistically think about what is it that you want to show off at the PI system demo at the end of the PI. So when you walk into that PI system demo and you show the work you've done, what is it that you want to show? What should that PI, that's what should be captured in the PI objective. Also, the simple oldest rule of writing, know your audience. Who is your audience? Are they engineers? So can you write in a technical language? Are they marketing people, right? Are they accountants? Are they from different aspects of the business? They may be deeply immersed in the domain, but they do not necessarily fully understand the technical details. So you basically have to know the audience and be able to express it, because these are the people who are bankrolling us. These are the people who are going to say, yes, I think what you're doing is valuable. So they need to understand and be aligned with what we're doing. Now, something that causes a lot of confusion for people are the difference between committed and uncommitted objectives. Now, in SAFe 5.0, they changed the name of these so-called stretched objectives to uncommitted objectives. The term stretched objective meant to a lot of people that these were the objectives that we were going to do if we had time. And the problem was that is absolutely not what it meant. But the term stretch is always that. We're going to try and do a little bit more if we have time, or let's push ourselves beyond what our normal capacity is. And that's absolutely not what it means. In SAFe, what was formerly known as a stretch objective, what is now called in 5.0 an uncommitted objective, is work that you are going to do but you are uncomfortable committing to for the very simple reason that there are risks associated with that and you're uncertain if you can commit to it. So for example, it's a feature or a set of features you are absolutely going to be working on, but perhaps there are vendors that you need to rely on to deliver something and you don't trust them. Or there are events that are going to happen that may put your commitment at risk. There may be issues, for example, with respect to your ability, your knowledge of your ability to deliver that feature. Perhaps you need to understand if the software can do what it's going to do. Will the hardware meet the performance? So these are all risk factors that would make it difficult for you to commit to the delivery of that objective at this time. But you are still planning on it. So the next part of this is, of course, business value. And this is something that's caused a lot of people problems. The team said the business owners will, during PI planning, come along and come to the teams, look at their objective, both their committed and uncommitted objectives, and assign them a business value. And the business value, you have to understand, is the business owner's perceived value. Like SAFe itself says, business value is assigned, not calculated. Okay, so this is just my perceived value as a business owner of what this feature or what this PI objective is worth. Now, you'll notice here that both committed and uncommitted objectives do get a business value, but only the committed value is part of the commitment, right? Obviously that makes sense. So here we have demonstrate the end-to-end purchase of a book using a credit card. The business owner gave that a business value, a perceived business value on a scale of 1 to 10, a 10. So this is something that's pretty important to them. Our uncommitted objective is search with recommendation, and they said, hey, that's worth about an 8. But you notice that does not form part of our commitment. So for the business value, what we're committing to here, or intending to commit to, is to deliver 10. So, important. Uncommitted objectives are not included in the commitment. So now, once we've gone through the calculation, we've put our objectives together, the business owner has given them a business value. The business owner can then say, hey, I really like what's on your plan. That looks like a good plan to me. I accept it. After the business owner accepts the plan, the team, once they've done their risk once they've done their risk and we've roamed the risks during PI planning, the team can do their fist of 5 and decide if they can commit to the PI objectives. And remember, they're only committing to the PI objectives that they are able to commit to. The uncommitted, while they're going to be working on the uncommitted objectives, they do not form part of that commitment. And so, if everything has worked well, we have a plan. So, that's sort of a quick overview. This is part 1. we explain what are PI objectives and how do we use them during PI planning. In the next video, I'll explain the role of the PI objectives during execution and, most importantly, at the Inspect and Adapt workshop. Until then, as the guys at Scaled Agile say, stay safe.